lost his technique. He stopped doing what worked. Everybody who runs track knows this. Never let your face get tight. You saw how the other guy's face was moving a lot? He was loose. You have to stay loose. You cannot, you start doing that, all your power is going in the wrong direction. Your power is in your arms and your knees. And you keep this loose as all get out. No matter what happens, you keep blowing that air through. The mirror was spot on. It's technique. That guy dropped his technique. That's why I lost. Now, anytime you want to win, stay inside of your practice. No matter what anybody else is doing, no matter what your mind tells you, stick to what you know works. And what works is honoring your word. No matter how bad it looks, no matter what the client is saying, what we gonna do? Oh my God. Okay, I got you. What do you mean? This is what we're gonna do. You stay calm. You honor your word. So that's one thing. So I gave you one of the practices, which is honor your word, right? Do what you say you're gonna do when you say you're gonna do it. If you know you're not gonna be able to do it, let them know, but honor that word like it's all you have, like gold. What are some of the other practices we have in the I Communicate Cultural Collaborative that you gotta stick to, no matter what? Yes, Hakeem?
Trust communication.
Very good.
Don't
Not people. Trust communication. If the communication, you might want to write these down. We probably should have them somewhere where everybody gets them. Trust communication, not talking. So when someone's talking to you, do you value that like a word? The answer is no. You listen for, is that gold? Can I bet my car on what they just said to me? And if you can't, you continue to communicate until you can get it. Or say, we'll have to discuss this more in the future. I'm not quite there yet. You don't sign on the dotted line until you're real clear. There is a communication that you can honor here.
Yeah.
Not the person. Okay. Dalmar?
I was gonna say, stick to what works, like stick to your practice that works. So the other runner, the Italian runner, he literally just he did not break form. He didn't break stride. He just stayed with it. The Italian runner was in.
Oh God, yeah.
You could see him actually accelerate because he was doing that. Yeah.
You know how I used to beat people in tennis? It was so funny. Some of those players were stronger than me. You know how I beat them? I never broke my form. No matter what they did, I never, ever broke my form. That's what my father told me. He's like, Gene, learn where your feet and your body is supposed to be when you swing in the backhand and the forehand. I would watch videos and I would imitate it. Exactly what they would do. And then I went to the backboard till I could get reliable for doing the swing the way it's supposed to be done every time. No fancy stuff, because you can get full thrust if your technique is right. He actually got faster because he kept stuck to his technique. I swear to God, that was like textbook, the way he ran that. I mean, that was like, I was like, I played it back several times. I can't believe how good, this is a world-class sprinter. He should have lost that race. Because Dalmar, go back to the beginning and go back to that last leg again and show how far behind he was. against, that's a really fast field. Those guys are running like 9 something. Look and see when they do the handoff in that last leg. And watch how late they are with the handoff.
Jamaica were in it early, but were out of it late. It was all about Great Britain and Italy. Look at China and everybody else giving chase.
Did you see how late they got? He got
And
that.
Nathaniel Mitchell-Blake could not hold the lead that he was given. And the Italians will be celebrating crazily tonight. Not only do they have the fastest man in the world, 100-meter gold medalist, they now have the 4x1 gold medal at the Olympic Games.
They shouldn't have won that race based upon what the opportunity that other team had. He couldn't hold it because he lost his form. So what's the other, there's another one that's really huge that we talk about all the time, and then I communicate cultural collaborative. What is another thing that is very key? This is key. If you want to win, you never, ever, ever forfeit this one. Starts with an S. First word starts with an S. Second word starts with an A. Dalmar.
Oh, I was gonna say stay present, but
But say it the way we say it. That's true.
stay aware.
No, sustain awareness in a high stakes game. Write that down. If you just practice this stuff, it'll get you out of the worst situations. This is all I do all day long.
Gene,
Yeah.
The thing that really jumped out to me watching it was the Italian runner knew that he was behind when he started. From the time he started, he knew he was not in 1 or 2.
That's right.
And actually made it his business to just do what he knew to do and hold his form. Like he wasn't aware that he won. The other runner was aware that he lost in that last moment.
Sure, they didn't know.
And they were just like, and when he looked up and saw he won, you could see it was like, I don't know how that happened, but you could see the lack of concern, right? There wasn't a concern of like, damn, I'm starting in 4th. We got to get this thing going. And that's what resonated to me because that's usually me.
But see, listen to what Delmar's saying. You do not have time to get in your head when you are in a high stakes game. You are not going to have that luxury. You got to shoot your shot. And he's like, let's get to it. Bam. And I mean, that was a textbook run, man.
But it was clear that he was clear that he was losing, right? It was like, he was just like, let's go. We're just going to make it do what it do, baby.
That's right.
I mean, another way to consider that would be that he knew it was so and was certainly not disempowered by it. Like he was fully empowered the entire time dealing with what was so. He was behind.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something
That's the thing.
I'm going to tell you something spookier. Go back and look, just get in your mind's eye. Those times you performed extremely well. There was no you there. That technique took over. That hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of practice pays off. Because that's what a technique does. It just takes over. That muscle memory, he's not thinking, he's executing. But you can't get there if you don't practice every day. I practice every day. And I don't go out of it. It's the same thing. What do real musicians do? They practice.
Worst gigs.
Huh?
The worst gigs are the ones where you have some concern. I promise you. Sound man did something and you're in a funky mood, or somebody said something, or your instrument's not doing what it's supposed to do, and you just get in your head about it.
Yeah, no, but you play your scales, right? You tune your strings, you do stuff that's very basic. You do the basics down to, see, people always want to do these fancy things. No, stick to the basics. Sustain awareness in a high stakes game. Honor your practices, practice them until it becomes a way of life. If you already know you're going to get in your head about your client doing X, Y, and Z, have a practice for it. So you don't have to get into what will I do now? No, deal with the mind parasite and keep moving. You know your trade, you know your job, you know how to do what you do. But if you get up here, it's going to start talking you out of it. Well, what about this? Because it knows, see, listen, that ego, when you start breathing hard, all that biology starts coming up, the ego is going to do whatever it can to protect you. When your blood pressure goes up, or you got anxiety, and it's going to try to protect you. It's not going to talk to you about do your job. It's not. The you that honors your word will say that. Only listen to that. You can always clean up a mess later if you make a mess. But I promise you, you want to have that. So what else? Somebody read everything we just distinguished about our technique for winning at the game of life. What are the things we do that are consistent? We consistently do in the collaborative. Yes, Hakeem.
Never break from your practice. Honor communication, not talking. Honor your word. Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Sustain awareness in a high stakes game, because you don't have time to be in your head. Consider the times you performed well, there was no you there. You get there by executing, practicing every day.
Like when I'm with a client and I notice that the chances are they're not going to do what I just told them would work. That first thing most people want to do is become forceful. I don't do that. That's not my practice. My practice is to enroll them in why it's good for them to do that. And if they still decline, I say, okay, I'm going to get behind what you said, but remember, I don't think you're going to get what you want doing it that way. Then they come back later and go, you're right. And I don't get upset. You know why? Because it's going to take us 6 months to clean up the mess they just made. Really, you just got to get it like that, because they're not going to do what you tell them. Trust me, they're going to test it. In the end, you'll go, good, that's 6 more months of work. Don't get mad at them. Be happy. You got 6 more months of work, and they're going to do it again and again and keep asking you, what's going on? You're not following the coaching. It's that simple. Coach is in here telling you the technique and you doing something else.
Thank God I never did that.
No, me either. That's why I'm so perfect.
Yeah.
And my life is so, okay.
I don't even know what y'all talking about.
Well, so it's sustaining awareness in a high stakes game, right? And it's the other thing about integrity, you want to do it the way it was meant to be done. Don't cut corners. Even when they try to get you to. I got clients that try to tell me, well, why do we have to do it this way? Because it doesn't work if you do it that way. It's just that. Then I even had a client tell me this week, why didn't you tell us this earlier? because there was too much noise. You couldn't even hear it. She went, wow. So why I can't tell you to do something that there's no listening for it. I'm saying it now because there's a listening for it. You don't want to drown people with all this, your stuff all at once. You gotta give it to them when they're ready to receive it sometimes. And let them, give them some space, some grace. Anything else? Have we got everything pretty much? Honor the modes of participation. Don't relate to someone as a critical stakeholder when they're a participant. Don't try to hold a resource accountable. They're not in the game to be accountable. They're there to provide resources. Yeah, I get those 100 chairs there. It'll cost you $200. Please have my check ready when I get there. They're providing a service as a resource or something. Critical stakeholders are who you hold accountable. And stakeholders. So yes, you honor the different, is there anything else? Anybody see anything else? Those are the basic things. That's the basic world in which we've been working all this time, and it works. And you can always master it at different levels. See, right now, I can have a conversation with you about practice that I couldn't have last year. When I first introduced the world of practice, people just kind of looked at me like, oh, okay, whatever. Now, people are like, well, I just created a new practice. Great. And it only gets better the more and more you master it.